Welcome back to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I am going to try to crank out some lumber out of this 16-foot log. Okay, so step one, as you can see here, I've actually got 4 slabs, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one here. And then I've got 2 boards, down one there and one underneath, and then I'm going to get a board out of that top offcut. So right now, based upon that one log, it looks like I'm going to get at least 1, 2, 3, either 2x10 or a couple 2x12s, and then some 2x4s, a couple 2x4s out of that one. So let's see what we can get. Now, by means of careful planning on that one there, I got a nice 2x10 by 16.6. The weighing on this is minimal. I mean, there's just a little bit here, 1/4 of an inch. The biggest part is down here on this end. There's about a 1/4 of an inch on this side, and then this side here dips off. But remember, I can take 6 inches off this, plus I've got to plane it. So by the time I'm done, this here should yield me a really nice 2x10. Now that is the smallest of pretty much of all my slabs, or the second smallest, next to that one right there. So that means these two here are definitely going to yield me a bigger material. So it's definitely worth, in this case, running it through on a slabbing method, because I can get a lot more material, bigger lumber out of it. So I'll come back when I get the next one ready. Okay, before I go on to do those other 3 slabs, I decided to get these 2 boards out of the way so I wasn't walking on them. Okay, I still got one slab down here that I need to do. I'll do that at the end. But this yielded a nice 7-inch board, pretty much clear, and a 5-inch board, if I recall. That's what that one is. Or 6. Get my tape out here. No, I guess that's a 6-inch. So a 6 and a 7. So I've got basically 16 square feet of board here, clear pine. Now this side has a little bit of wane here and there, but you can always put the bad side down. So that there's already in the slabbing method has given me really 2 nice boards and 1 2x10. I'll be back. Okay, I'm ready for this next slab. And what you're going to notice me doing is the same thing I was doing with the boards. I am dropping down 1 inch at a time, coming along, unless it's just a straight 2x10 or a straight slab that I'm working on. But if there's any crown in it or anything like that, I'm going to take it down 1 inch at a time. That way I can get the most valuable things that we all need, and that is stickers, 1-inch stickers. Okay, this I cut at 11¼ inches. Ideally, I mean, this is going to be probably a 2x10. I left the extra inch on purposely because every now and again, you know, you'll get lumber that will twist and bow, and so instead of just hacking that inch off now, I'm going to leave it on, and if I have to later when this dries, if I have to, you know, snap a line and straighten it up so I can use it for a full nice straight 2x10, those are going to be very important, especially if you're doing like rim joists or things that you need a nice straight piece. This is the time when you want to do that. Leave your board, you leave these a little bit larger if you've got the wood, and it'll work great. Now obviously I can also use this for a header if I wanted to, you know, beef up a header or something. I've got an extra inch there, so I don't just whack that lumber off unless I absolutely have to, and so I leave that on. It's all solid and good, so I'll be back when I set up for the next one. This is the next one. Okay, just a quick comment here. This one I took down to 10�3/4. I'm doing the exact same thing as I did on the last one. I've given myself some room to straighten this out later. I do have a little bit of a wane here at the end, but again, I can take 6 inches off, and I've got some extra, almost 3/4 of an inch to work with on this particular plank. That will make a really nice 2x10 when I'm done. I'll be back for the last one. Okay, on the last slab cut, this has got quite, I'll step back here so you can see it. It's got quite a bow up in it in the middle, so it's up off of the bunks there a good inch or more. But I've got a fairly consistent first cut that'll straighten this out at 10½. So my hope is that I'll be able to get 8 inches and then 2 2x4s when it's cut in half. Starting to rain here. All right, got two really nice 2x4s, 16 foot long. The only thing that I have left is this offcut. And you may say, why mess around with that offcut? Well, it's not a full 16 foot long. It kind of wanes off at the end. But I'm going to show you there's still a lot of wood right here. So I'll bring you back for this last cut in a minute. Okay, let's see if we can get anything valuable out of this offcut. Okay, I'm going to finish this video. As you can see, this is pretty much a clear piece of pine. So 1 inch thick, or 7/8 or so. It's about 14 feet long. I took a couple feet off the first thing, so it's about 14 feet long. So that would be the equivalent of 7 board feet. Clear pine. You're probably looking at somewheres around $20 plus for that one piece of pine right there. Now most people, like I said, would just take that and chuck it in the offcuts, burn it or whatever. I've got a limited amount of pine, as I've noted before, and so when I get an opportunity to get as much wood out of my lumber as possible, that's how I do it, especially with those offcuts. Now, the other thing that I want to point out, I just did a 16-foot log that was 13 inches around, or across, and that's all of my offcuts right there. That's all the stuff that's got to be disposed of. 1 wheelbarrow load. I've got a bunch of stickers and stuff that I got out of that, but that's it. And I mean, I could have even got on a few of those cuts, I could have got a few more stickers. Just got away from me on a couple of the cuts before I realized I could have got some more, but for all intents and purposes, and I mean obviously down in the bottom that wheelbarrow's not full, it's that's just laying in kind of up on an angle this way. So there's not a lot of offcuts right there. I watch a lot of these guys on YouTube, and you take the way they slab off their pine logs and whatnot. A couple slabs would fill that and then some, and they haven't even really got into the wood. And so while I don't use the slabbing method all the time, in this particular situation I certainly do. When my larger size lumber is getting smaller, or fewer number, so I'm trying to get as many of the 2x10s as possible out of that one piece, or that one log. I got 3, was the equivalent of 3 really nice 2x10, 2 2x4, 16 feet long, and then I got the 2 16-foot boards, and then I got that board there. So is it worth it? Obviously, time-wise, I probably got an hour and a half into the log, give or take. Yeah, probably somewhere around an hour and a half or so. When you square it up, and that's of course counting the stacking and everything, and so it takes a little bit longer than the cant method, but you have got you got fewer pieces of lumber, big lumber. So just thought I'd bring you along for a 16-foot log, step by step, and what we could get out of it in the slabbing method. And so until next time, as always, I pray that you have a good day, and we'll catch you next time. If you will, please like and subscribe.